Here we are, another boring day. Nothing but clothes around me, and nothing to stimulate my mind. I can't stand days like these with nothing whatsoever to do. Seems like everyone's interested in summer clothes and bathing suits, and they all just pass by my little jewelry counter. Like, no, Ashley with two E's and an I, you do not look good in that. It's two sizes too small. Stop looking at me like I'm supposed to be helping you with that problem when I'm clearly not coming out from behind this counter for another 4 hours. It's better this way, I suppose. Far easier than having to deal with the obnoxious customers that frequent this place. I was just about to nod off when I heard a faint voice. "Excuse me, ma'am?" I work in a big store. They were probably talking to one of my coworkers. Still, I couldn't risk being fired, so I looked up. Two women stood in front of me, smiling with an obscene amount of joy. The one on the left spoke again. "My name's Kate, and this is Stephanie. She's getting engaged soon, and we'd like to get her a wedding band as soon as possible." I sighed, then began my usual speech. "I'm sorry, but the rings we have on display are the only ones we carry, and we'll have to order the ring you want. We should have it within the week. For now, we can check your size." I pulled out a set of wedding bands. The one on the right tried some on, then picked one. I placed the order, then said, "Come back in 2 days. We should have it then. Thank you for choosing whatever this place is called. I'm sure if you cared, you would have read the sign by now." They smiled, said some half-hearted attempted goodbye, and left. Nothing else happened that day or the next. I carried on as usual. The days flew by, and I had nearly forgotten about those two women when one of them, Kate, came up to me. She seemed distraught, and her eyes were puffy. "Have you seen my sister? She went missing yesterday, and I was wondering if she came in to pick up that ring." I thought back, but I couldn't remember. I didn't work yesterday, and I figured that she came in then. "I'll ask around, Kate," I replied after a brief pause. "I'll let you know if anyone else saw her." The woman nodded, then left. I went around asking about the woman. Only one of my coworkers had anything useful to say. "Yeah, I think I saw her. Had some guy with her. Some scrawny kid, probably still in college. They came in yesterday asking about some wedding ring. I'm surprised you're asking me. I saw you talking with them. Last I saw, you were leading them into the back room to pick up their order," the old man grumbled. "That wasn't me. I didn't come in yesterday," I responded, surprised at his accusation. He sighed, then looked around. "I suppose I am due for a new pair of glasses. Must have been some new girl. Either way, that's all I can tell you." I nodded, then walked away. Should I really be getting involved in all of this? It does seem strange that she would be seen here on the day that she vanished, and we haven't hired any new people since I started working here. The whole thing seems to be connected to this store, and I can't just quit. I'll need to protect myself, and the best way to stay safe is to know what danger you're facing, right? Besides, I'm bored. I've got nothing better to do, so I may as well investigate. I reached my hand into my pocket and felt the familiar grip of the stun gun I always carry. The back room of the store was the only suspicious place, so I went there. As I suspected, there were nothing but various boxes. I sighed. This was my only lead. I wouldn't gain anything from continuing my little investigation. As I turned to leave, I heard a soft melody. This was strange. We didn't sell appliances or play music in the store. A chill went down my spine as I realized this. I slowly turned around and saw two people. One of them was that woman who vanished. She was a lot bigger than I remembered, appearing twice as tall as an average person. She was sitting in an equally large chair, so I couldn't really guess at her height. Her ankles and wrists were chained to the chair. She seemed to be awake but didn't say anything. Instead, she looked over at the other person, a small, emaciated man wearing nothing but thin rags. In his right hand was a bundle of wet grass. He crouched low and nibbled the tips of the grass. Looking up, his eyes met with mine. His expression was empty, that of a corpse. He slowly stood up and shuffled over to me at a snail's pace. He raised the bundle of grass like a club, then brought it down toward me. His arm moved so slowly that it unsettled me more than anything. I felt some strange, childlike fear that if it touched me, my existence would come to an end. Before it made contact, I had already shocked him with my stun gun. He yelped as he collapsed onto the floor. The grass spilled from his hand, and the ring rolled away. He was much like a wounded dog. My vision was clouding, and I found it hard to stand. Suddenly it stopped, leaving only the soft lullaby. I looked up, struggling to stay on my feet. The first woman was there, feeding her sister large cuts of raw meat. The sister ate ravenously, but silently. The normal woman ran out of food to give her, and walked over to me. She took my arm and led me out of the room. "I know things seem bad," she began, "but it's best this way. They're happier like that, and the best thing you can do is leave them alone, and make sure everyone else does the same." I nodded, not knowing what to think of this whole situation. I shut the door behind us and locked it. For a moment I wondered if I should tell the police. No, nobody's being hurt by this. The sister is fine with keeping them in that room. Besides, it's better this way, right? Over the next couple of days, I stole every key to that back room so that nobody could get in. The two people, if they could still be called that, remained docile. I never went back in, and nobody else went there either. But the music never stopped. I heard it as I left the store. I heard it as I drove home. When I played other music at deafening volumes, the lullaby just grew even louder. When I bathed, I tried to keep my head underwater to block the sound, but even that was useless. I considered destroying my eardrums, but decided against it. If this song was already in my brain, then hearing nothing else but this would be the ultimate torture. So I just ignored it and carried on with my daily life. A few days after I had first heard that accursed song, I noticed something odd. A little boy was lingering alone by the door to the back room. His parents weren't with him, and he held something strange. He carried a bundle of dry noodles, which he munched on slowly. I remembered the withered fiancé chewing his grass. As I watched the boy, I realized that he was experiencing the same effect. I ran over to the boy and snatched the noodles away from him, throwing them on the ground. "Can you hear it, kid?" I yelled, my voice barely loud enough for me to hear myself over that agonizing lullaby. "If you can't hear it, then run away while you still can. Once you hear the music, it has heard you, and once it notices you, you are doomed." The boy looked at me, terrified. "Are you crazy? The music's not that bad. Quite nice, actually." My heart sank. Everyone was looking around at me. "Is something wrong with that music?" one of them called. I rather like it myself, someone else responded. Murmurs of agreement and confusion echoed throughout the crowd. What's this about music? I thought I said not to play any, a familiar voice boomed. The manager. He pushed through the crowd and observed the scene quietly. Walking up to the boy, he said, It's coming from behind that door, right, son? The boy nodded. The manager walked up to that door, pulled out a key that I had never seen before, and opened it. That slow, withered man creeped out, causing the crowd to yell. The woman inside joined in, her soul-crushing shrieks rending the air. The music had grown so loud. It was consuming me and everyone else. I didn't know what to do. It was over. The reporter sighed. Do we really have to do this? Upon receiving a curt nod from the producer, he read over the script one more time, then set it aside. Ready. The camera began to record. We are here live at the Green Mall, where something horrible just took place. A killing spree was committed here not 1 hour ago. The killer, Mary Pinkerton, age 23, had previously kidnapped 3 people and held them for 3 days, one of which she killed and fed to another victim, the deceased's sister. Both survivors are currently in emergency care. Police say that the third captive, the fiancé of the other survivor, was fed nothing and survived only by eating grass through a crack in the wall and licking up the rainwater that flowed in. We've received reports from eyewitnesses that when her crime was revealed, she attacked everyone in sight, killing 3 and wounding 5 more through the use of both a stun gun, a non-lethal weapon primarily used in self-defense, and a large pocket knife. Ironically, it was a measure that Pinkerton had taken to conceal her crime that was used to reveal her heinous actions. To drown out any possible noise from her captives, Pinkerton had set a soft lullaby to play on loop. For reasons unknown, she called attention to this music, and even went so far as to yell at a child for listening to it. Police detectives are still questioning her, but no motive has been determined. Truly, we could never understand the mind of such a damaged person. Hopefully she'll get the help she needs. Over to Bob with the weather.